Hey YouTube, what's going on? I'm Greg. Welcome back to my machine shop. Today we're going to be working with Fusion360 CAM with the emphasis on stock. Using stock from an STL model or stock from pre-existing operations or stock from pre-existing setups. The whole intent is we don't want to be machining air. If material has been removed by an earlier operation, we want to take advantage of that in Fusion360 CAM by using stock models. All right, let's just go get on the computer. Okay, let's start like we usually do and take a look at the zip file that you've downloaded from the website. This one here is the CNC Crankcase Assembly. It contains the drawings for all of the components in the crankcase assembly. It contains the IGES files needed to create the tool paths in our CAM program. The files we're interested in today are the block wallaby.igis. That's the model for the block itself. And then also this block stock.stl. This is a model, an STL model of the block that we squared up and roughed out. Okay, so there's our completed blank for the block. And this file here, blockwallaby.f3d, that's the Fusion360 file, that's the file that we're working on right now, and you can download as well and see what we created today. All right, let's open up Fusion360. So we're in Fusion360. We're going to go up, File, Open, Open from my computer, navigate over to our zip file, open the block wallaby.igis file. And this is the IGES file for the block. This is what we want to end up with. Now we're going to insert our stock. Go over to Insert, Insert Mesh. In the same folder, open the STL file. You can see here it opens it up. It's not quite aligned correctly, but we can fix that. So that's open, modify, move copy, select the body we want to move, click an origin point, then click the target point. They're on top of each other now. Click OK. And there we go. Now we've imported both our stock and our Wallaby block. By clicking the little eye icon here, I can hide one or the other. Okay, before we get started, there's one more thing we'd like to do. Remember, we have an entry hole that we machined here that we'd like the mill to move into and machine this pocket from. So let's place that point on our design model. So let's select this back surface, create, sketch. Let's create a circle. Okay, now let's dimension it. We want to make it smaller than our end mill so our end mill doesn't machine it. The end mill is a 1/4 inch, so we'll just make this 0.1. 0.1. Then I want to place it 0.75 from this edge. And 0.75 from that edge. Finish sketch. And now we have our point there. Now we're ready to move into our manufacturing environment. We'll create a new setup. Come over to stock. Create our stock from solid. We're going to select our block stock. Then we click the setup tab. We're going to select the Z and X axis. So let's select this edge here for the Z, this edge here for the X. I want to flip that, and I'm going to select this corner here for my origin, and the model, of course, is the block Wallaby. That completes our setup. Now let's add our first operation. Right click on our setup, create from template, and I'm going to use an adaptive roughing. I'm going to edit this. First thing I'm going to do is come down here and select this as my entry point. And there's our first operation. Now you can see here we've got some material left for our finishing operation, so that's a roughing operation. I'm assuming our end mill has only got a 3/4 of an inch cutting edge, so I cut 3/4 of an inch. Then I'm going to step it in a little bit, leave more material so the shank here doesn't touch the edge, and cut the remaining 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to come down here, I'm going to right click, I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to change the starting point, minus 0.75, all the way down to the bottom. And instead of leaving 20 thousandths, I'm going to leave 30 thousandths to give me a little bit of extra. But you notice it's not taking advantage of we're machining air in through here. So let's check our rest machining. Rest machining from previous operation. Let's try that again. And now we can see we're not wasting time machining air. It's not machining in here where this hole has been cut. Let's go back and check this top one here. Go to Edit, Rest Machining. Let's click this button here, Reduce Air Cutting. And that made the difference here. Now you can see where this hole is. We're not machining the air. Let's double check our second one. We create a new setup. Stock is from preceding setup. Use the Z and X again. Use this edge for the Z this time, this edge for the X, origin point. I'm going to flip my X, and my model is going to be the block. This time I think I'm going to use a pocket to rough the holes. We're machining air here, so we got to fix that. We'll use rest machining from previous operations. Let's give that a try. And there you are. It doesn't machine the air here. But we want to machine this all the way down. So let's adjust our height. I'm going to go from the stock top to the stock bottom. So we're machining all the way down. We're machining air here. Let's go back and look at our setup. Maybe we missed something. Yes, we clicked from previous setup. That was correct. But we did not click this continue rest machining box. Let's click that. There we go. That's what we want. Now we're machining this area out at the top. We're machining the area out at the bottom. And we are not machining air. So we've accomplished what I wanted to do today. We talked about the use of stock and minimizing the amount of air we machine. We created an STL model which represented the starting point for our CNC operations because we had already done a lot of the roughing on the mill. We learned how to carry over stock from one operation to the next operation using rest machining. And we also learned how to carry over the resulting stock from one setup to the next setup, which is very useful if we're machining multiple sides of a workpiece. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up all of the finishing operations and finish this file up and throw it into the zip file so you can download it and play with it and see what we ended up with. So I'm Greg. Thanks for visiting me in my study. Until next time, take care.